Hello and welcome to ChinnyVision. This time we're off to raid some ancient Egyptian tombs. Really need to start off here with a little bit of history. Amsoft were a software publisher owned by Amstrad. They commissioned and took in games to publish for the newly released Amstrad CPC because Alan Sugar was convinced that without a huge number of software titles on the system ready for launch in the first couple of years the system would be on the market, the system would be a flop. So Amsoft commissioned lots of games, they took them in, lots of them of variable quality. And there are certain games that people remember very, very well because after the CPC had been on the market for a few months, Alan Sugar came up with the idea of bundling £100 of software, free software, with the CPC 464. An absolutely brilliant move. It made lots of people buy the system. Amstrad did lots of advertising, and it was certainly something that swayed my cousins to buy a 464 because for £199 they got a green screen 464 and £100 worth of games. Now the games were variable quality, but hey, it was the mid-80s. One of the games was Oh Mummy, which means a huge proportion of CPC owners have played this game. It was programmed by Gem Software for Amsoft, including the loading screen here, which I think is about 4 or 5K. The game's 19K in size, so it's not a massive game. The familiar Amsoft loading screen there that's, of course, easily hacked because you can press escape, go in there and change that text. Copyright 1984 Gem Software. Gem Software produced lots of games for Amsoft, including Roland in Space and Roland in Time. So we've got some options. We can set the speed of the game and difficulty level. And I'm going to leave the background music on, although it becomes irritating very quickly. You are excavating Egyptian tombs to get the treasures, and you've got to run around, and each of these squares is a tomb, and when you've walked all the way around the tomb, it will reveal to you what's in the tomb. It may be treasure. It may be another mummy that's going to chase you. It may be an extra, well, special scroll thing that enables a mummy to run into you and not take one of your lives. There you go, we're revealing the tombs now. Maybe nothing, there's the scroll thing there. Another mummy being revealed there. And you also need the key and the transport, and there we go, a key and transport to the next level, and then you run to the exit and off we go. And that's level 2 now. And now we've got 3 mummies running around. There's no AI with the mummies really. They walk around aimlessly because they're mummies, so they don't really chase you, which is quite good really, because if they did you could get trapped very easily. See, he could have run after me there, but he's run up the top. Oh, and I've reeled another mummy there. Some people may say, well, the lack of AI on the mummies is, well, it's an easy way out. They didn't have to program any of that in, and therefore it makes the game rubbish. I don't think so. The fact they're wandering around aimlessly means you can plan where you go, because you can end up with, there we go, level 3. There we go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mummies running around, and we could easily have a 6th shortly. It means you can actually plan what you're doing. When you die, and we haven't done that yet, the game doesn't reset, the mummy just disappears and you lose a life and you just continue from where you are. That's the key for the next level. More treasure. And the music goes round and round and round and gets on your nerves very, very quickly. Well, I can absorb one of the mummies there because I had the scroll. It's a very simplistic game, but I was reminded recently when playing games on my Amstrad with a friend's 5-year-old that actually some of these Amsoft games, well, they were, in this era, games were aimed at kids. It's not like today where games are aimed at everyone, or different games aimed at kids and some games are aimed at grown-ups. These games were really squarely aimed at kids, and as a kid this game engrossed me. I was about 7 at the time. I played it and played it and played it. it was good. Looking at it today, it seems crude, it's basic. You can rip the gameplay apart, but I actually feel quite fondly towards it, even though I got out of that. It's fun. It's so basic, but I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mummies running around now. It's insane. And you're going to play this game. You're going to play this game through once, and that's going to be it. But you know, who cares? Pick it up, play it for 5 minutes, complete it. We actually can't complete it because it goes round and round and round forever. And just smile and enjoy it and move on. Got the key. It's often a gamble if you want to go for more trail. Oh, lucky. I've lost a life. I finally lost a life. And that's the game completed, in effect, because you're asked to go and excavate more tombs, and the game goes round again. Got my extra life, so I'm back to 6 lives. And you can go around like this all day. There's no more to it than that. It's a game that fits into about 16k of memory by the time you lost the loading screen. Speaking of which, this wasn't the only computer this game was bundled with. When Amstrad released the Sinclair Spectrum Plus 2, they went to companies they already had a relationship with to include some bundled games, and Gem Software was one of them. So we end up with Oh Mummy being released on the Sinclair Spectrum, which was news to me until fairly recently. So I'm going to have a look at this and see what it's like. The date on the screen here is 1986. World of Spectrum says it was released in 1984 and is a 16k game, and indeed that's confirmed via my div MMC Enjoy, where it says the file is 11k. Beeper version of the music that we heard. I expect it to stop when we start playing because it won't be able to, unless it's got interrupt music. Very basic menu system compared to the Amstrad version. The instructions are exactly the same as the Amstrad version. There's 5 levels, and we've got to uncover all the squares. Very basic graphics there on the instructions. I hope they're better than the game themselves. And do we want to change the control keys? There's no joystick option unless you redefine the keys to the joystick, which is what I'm doing here on my Plus 2. Which is weird because the Plus 2s came bundled with joysticks, so why they couldn't have put a joystick option in, I don't know. And off we go. Woohoo! Oh dear. Is this game programmed? Oh, this game's programmed in BASIC. It's, yeah. Oh, we talked about AI in the Amstrad version. On this version, the mummy tracks you down and just homes in on you incredibly fast. There's no zombie-like wandering around like on the Amstrad version, which I quite like. It just goes for you. But this is basic. Oh. There's no custom graphics, so we're going to get... Oh, we've got a custom graphic for the scroll there. If there is machine code in here, it's very limited. There's another mummy there, he's eating his way up the tomb, and... Oh, he goes straight for you. They just go straight for you. The exit must be down bottom right there. We've got the key, we've got the transport, and you can wander into these tombs, but the controls are very delayed. There's a big delay as you put down the trail behind you in order to open the tombs. It appears to in quite large character blocks. Because the controls are so imprecise, it's very easy to overshoot the tombs. On the Spectrum, I'm afraid this is a pale shadow of the Amstrad game. Oh Mummy is a game that people often make fun of as a slightly rubbish game that was bundled with the CPC 464. I say no. I say it's a game that still manages to put a smile on my face just for a few minutes when you play it. It is, of course, incredibly limited. There's no long-term gameplay there. There's not even 10 minutes of gameplay there. But as a kid, it really amused me, and it still gets a smile today when I play it. As a game that was bundled with the CPC 464, It's historically important, even though in terms of gameplay, there's nothing original or exciting here. On the Speccy, it's rubbish. On the Amstrad, it's a very limited game, but a one with a huge nostalgia factor for so many Amstrad CPC users.